plaintiff, Janet Caudle, says when her son started dating the defendant, she heard that the defendant started using meth at age 10. Janet claims she called the police on her son and the defendant because they were fighting in front of their children. And Janet's suing today for the cost of a car. Defendant Casey Underwood admits she abused meth, but says she stopped once she got pregnant. Casey insists the car from Janet was a gift, and therefore she denies owing.
Start with you.
Okay, it's my son and his girlfriend, Joseph Caudell and Casey Underwood. My son was good growing up. He was a good kid. By 18, he had his money saved, a job, and a nice car.
Okay. You saved his money from working.
Yeah, from working.
And lived with you, paid a bill maybe?
Yeah.
So that's a good example. Mm-hmm. Where did he learn that from?
Well, he learned it from me, but things changed.
I see a lot of what I refer to as financial illiteracy. And that is people who can't afford to buy expensive items. Mm-hmm. They buy them for these status symbols, and they have no money for a nice place to live, to invest in, so they can have equity in the house. Mm-hmm. They have no money set aside for their kids' college or for a private school if they live in the area, which unfortunately most urban areas have substandard schools. But he wears red bottoms when he finishes, alligator red bottoms, a big piece of jewelry.
And he got a cane.
And he got a cane. So that's financial literacy, and congratulations to you and your son, because it sounds like he's going to be a good steward for his income and for his family. All right. And tell me more about the son and his girlfriend.
Okay, so he met Casey through my daughter, but her brother, I met him through, and her brother told me that one of their family members had got them smoking meth since they were 10 and 11 years old.
Wow.
Her brother told me that. So.
And how old are they now?
She's what, 25?
Yes, 25.
She wouldn't last 25 in this shape.
Okay.
Smoking crystal meth for 15 years. No, ma'am.
Okay.
Did he look healthy at all?
I didn't do it for all 15 years.
Okay, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Okay.
I've done it.
Now, you look like you might have taken a hit or two. Every now and then, but in 15 years, I know the difference now. How does he look? Does he look like a skeleton?
Yeah, her brother.
And death, walking death?
Not that bad.
15 years
Not
of
that
crystal
bad,
meth, you look like dead man walking.
Yeah.
Well, he'll quit for a while, too. He's a good kid, too. I mean, he's 25. No, he's 27.
He hadn't been smoking crystal meth for 15 years? All right.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Anyway, so they got with my son. So I talked to my son about when he first brought her there, and I said, well, maybe, she's not the right person for you, but he said, oh, she's nice and everything like that. So they have been together for since 2010 or 11, which for the first 3 or 4 years, it went fine. Then they got evicted out of their apartment. He lost his job. He asked me if he could move in with me for 6 months. And that was almost 3 years ago.
Still there.
Okay, still there. Don't work. Don't do anything. The first they were having verbal arguing. Now they are fighting. I had to call the law. It's been 3 weeks ago.
Why haven't you put them out a long time ago?
Well, because they got 2 kids and they're my grandbabies, and I didn't want to do that.
Well, you should have went to Child Protective Services if they're living that destructive of lives. Nonetheless, I can understand you wanting to keep the family together, not cause any trauma.
Yes.
So that's understandable.
But
what do you have there?
I have where I called the police on him.
I see it. Let me hear from you, ma'am.
So, when I had met Joe in 2010, yes, we went out. I met his mom. My brother was with his sister, and my brother was doing meth and stuff. So were me and Joe. And I got pregnant with my daughter a few months later, and we quit. We've had a problem with opiates, but I go to groups. I'm on Suboxone. I do a group a week. We're trying to stay clean. And we have fought. It's, she's never seen him put his hands on me. So, she can't sit and say, whether he has or not, you know.
Well, I want to thank you first for coming clean. You're truly in recovery when you speak the way you're in. That's why I call folks like you recovering addicts.
Yes.
You come in here lying and playing games and twisting and turning, I'm going to call you a crackhead to shame you into rehab. But you already are in recovery, so I refer to you as a recovering addict. And I'm so glad that you're doing that. You're admitting everything. You're trying to get help. Now, what about the rascal? Is he trying to get help too?
Yes, we both do it together. I mean, we've been together for 8 years, almost.
Okay,
And we have,
tell me about your relationship with his mom.
I mean, in the beginning, she, you know, seemed like she didn't like me, and then over the years, she's liked me and then not liked me. It's kind of went back and forth. She's never gave me the benefit of the doubt to prove myself.
Why do you think that is? Has she called you names? Has she said why?
She hasn't said why, no, but it's like she knows the history of my family, the drug history, and so when she first met me, she went ahead and discriminated me on that and never gave me the chance to prove myself otherwise except for a drug addict.
Why do you all argue and fight so much in her house? You're under her roof.
Because
you do that if you're under your own roof.
We live in the basement and we have 2 kids. We want to be better parents.
Why doesn't he work? You can't afford perhaps daycare. A lot of times that is too expensive for both parties to work, but at least one of you all.
Well, both of our kids are in school, so yes, we both should have jobs.
How long has it been since you've been out of work?
He just had a job like a month ago, but we can't get anybody to help us be able for him to get back and forth to a job in our car to keep a job. You know, like paying for gas.
Where do you all live? They don't have bus service?
I mean, there's a bus, but it's miles into town. We live in the country.
Okay, it would take you miles to get to the bus. What do you say the reason he can't work?
Because they're on meth. I give them gas money. You know, to go to work. He worked 6 days, got $400. I never seen a penny of it. They're driving a car on a.
Let's get to that. You're suing about the cost of the car.
Yes.
So tell me, $2,500. What has happened with a car?
Well, they still have the car.
No, tell me what happened. There was an agreement.
Oh, there was a verbal agreement.
Anything.
Both of them said they would pay me.
You purchased a car.
I purchased a car for them so they could get a job. They said they wanted to go to work.
And they were to repay.
Repay me when they got their tax return.
How much was when they got their tax return? That's why you're here. You were going to end up here by the time you loaned that money. So how much was it? $2,500?
$2,500.
And how were they to repay and what time frame?
And when they got their tax return, pay me the $2,500.
That means they were never supposed to pay.
Well, yeah, they were supposed to.
I know they were. My point is people don't pay when they tell you they got to.
And I even asked to put it in their name. They wouldn't put it in their name. I'm still having to pay the insurance on it. Now it's about ran out. They're driving on a donut tar. But
let me hear from you, ma'am.
Okay, so why
are you suing her then? Why aren't you suing him?
Both of them.
Why is he sitting down? I guess he are. You did say, Joseph, I guess he didn't hear his name called. He thought he'd get out of this. Stand up. Go ahead. I overlooked his name and he thought he was about to wiggle out of it.
I'm just a witness.
Yeah. Let me hear from you, ma'am.
When our last car messed up, the car we bought, our car messed up, she went out and bought us a car. We didn't sit and beg her to go buy us a car. We didn't tell her, hey, we got a car for $3,000 you can go buy. Okay, she just came home with the car. And then she says, just pay me back when you can. Or pay, we never said, yes, we'll give you this money this time.
What did you say when she said pay me back? Because at that point, you knew she felt she was allowing you to borrow it. You knew at that point when she said pay me back, however she said, whenever she said, you knew at that very moment that she felt she was loaning you that car.
Okay, well,
or letting you rent that car from her. Go ahead.
She may have said that to me, but she doesn't say that to her son. It's a gift to her son. To me, it's something that I have to pay for.
So you all are confused and she isn't. Judgment for the plaintiff. She's very clear that it was a loan. You aren't, even though she told you, I'm letting you borrow the car. you're not sure what he says. He's trying to wiggle out of it all. So all I do know is that you knew she believed it was a loan. And so there's no way for you to say it wasn't a loan. She said it was a gift. You just said she told you it was a loan. That was your understanding. If you don't want to believe it, you're going to end up in court. So judgment for the plaintiff. You don't owe anything. I'm going to let you off the hook. Just her, right? We're just going to get her, right?
Yeah, thank you, Your Honor.
He said, yeah. He said, thank you. Judgment for the plaintiff. Go under the bus quick.
Judge Mathis made the right decision, and I wish that they would go to rehab.
I don't think we need it.
Yeah.
Rehab.
So I'm already in rehab.
I just want us all to have a better relationship now.